Yay.
Oh my God.
Good to see you. Yay.
I have to get a picture of you for Jenna.
I want to take a picture of
Yes.
Judy Kessler today. And she said, I wanted you to know, I shared with her what's going on with you, and she's been through that, and she's actually going through something else now. So she could love to talk to you if you ever want to.
So thank you so much. You get an applause.
Right to the ego.
Oh my God.
So welcome to Zibby's. We're so happy you're here. We know a lot of people here are friends and family, which is the most fun events that we get to do.
Mm-hmm.
We have like a nice communal crowd. Obviously, we have a lot of Zibby's runners in the house as well. We do about like 3 or 4 events a week, so come through whenever. We have an event flyer by the door. I'm gonna hand it over. I'll read bios.
Great.
And then I'll hand it over. But we'll do a little bit of a reading, a little bit of questions and conversation, and then we can open up the floor. And then we have books to purchase behind the counter there, and we'll do a signing. We'll have you guys standing over there, and we'll sort of have everyone come against the bookshelf. So yeah, thank you again so much for coming. Okay. For over 4 decades, Claire Berger has been earning a living as a comedian, improv actor, and writer. She began her career in Chicago with the Second City and in local comedy clubs. She earned acclaim as a warm-up comedian on over 65 of your favorite sitcoms, including Seinfeld, Murphy Brown, and Mad About You. Claire was the first comedian HGTV hired to host a series. Transitioning from the sitcom sound stages to the corporate boardrooms, Claire has helped businesses have fun while getting the job done with her memorable bespoke events and her book, Funny Works, 52 Ways to Have More Fun at Work, 52 Ways to Have More Fun in Life. Claire finds humor in unlikely places, including Italian kitchens, where she served as a resident writer, ambassador, and cookbook contributor for 2 popular culinary immersion programs, Tuscan Women Cook and Italian Culinary Adventures. Claire began writing How Much Is Enough, the book that we're very excited to celebrate tonight, her interactive memoir to give voice to the ever-present conversation we've all been having in our heads. How much is enough? Through 22 engaging chapters, readers are invited to explore this universal debate, finding a renewed appreciation for all that we are and all that we have, which is often more than enough. Mm-hmm. Our conversation partner tonight is Wendy. Wendy is an old friend of the bookstore. Wendy Harris has worked as an actor on stage, screen, and television. She played a rattled flight attendant with Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm, was featured on Oprah as a comic, and toured the country as a stand-up for 3 decades. As an actress, she's played nuns, nudists, psychics, therapists, and Borscht Belt comics. Then when she turned 54, Wendy was handed the most challenging part of her life, the role of a pancreatic cancer patient. 8+ years later, alive and thriving, Wendy shares her keynote talk, I broke up with cancer, and I'm lifting funny, life-affirming testament with organizations across the country. So thank you guys so much. We're super excited to have you both here. We're excited for this event to start. If you want to come sneak and grab a chair, perfect. And we'll start. I'll hand it over to the people.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Charlotte, and thank you, Zanny from the bookstore, for making this space so beautiful for us to do this today. Everything that Charlotte just said about Claire is true, but what she didn't say was a more delicious and open-hearted human being you cannot meet. And it has been my devout and divine pleasure to be her dear friend for 36 years. And so this is just fun that we're doing this. We're so excited.
I'm just going to leave this out.
Yeah, she's crying. She's crying before we did anything. Okay, so we have had 36 years of rehearsal for this, so we didn't prepare because we don't need to. We're just going to talk, and you're going to hear about how this beautiful book came to be, and it's really going to be a conversation with all of us. But let's begin with, first of all, welcome to LA.
Thank you.
Welcome
it's great
home
to be
to
home.
LA.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
For those of you who don't know Claire personally, she lived in LA for many years, and 3 years
3 years ago, I moved to Brooklyn to help raise my grandkids. So
Yeah.
I've been there ever since. Yeah.
There's a young man. There's a seat right here in the front.
Oh, young man. Don't have a seat, young man. Just sit down there.
So tell us, Claire, this book, this beautiful book. And it's not your first book, but this is your first,
Yeah. This is I'm so grateful for all of you to be here. Thank you so much. I'm extremely verklempt because there are people in this room from every chapter of my life. I could spend the whole time just telling stories about all of you. So I really, I'm so moved and appreciative that you're all here. Thank you. This book was born in the swimming pool at the YMCA in Prospect Park, Brooklyn. I had just moved there. It was the end of the pandemic. It was March 2021. I joined to find a community and to swim laps, and I found my book in the bottom of the pool. What happened was they had very strict regulations, and you had to swim 30 minutes, then get out, then give it to somebody else. And then I was doing my 30-minute swims, and it was going great. And I was a really happy 30-minute swimmer. And then the pandemic rules lifted. You could swim as long as you want. And I started beating myself up for like, why aren't you swimming more? Why are you only swimming 30 minutes?
When it was fine,
when it was fine. Yeah. And I said, can't 30 minutes be enough? And then as I started swimming, I realized there were so many times in my life, and I think all of our lives, where we challenge ourselves. We do this inventory, right? You wake up in the morning and you say, did I sleep enough? Is there enough healthy food in the house? Do I have enough time to play with my kids? Do I, all these enough questions. And so the book became a part of that. So there you go.
And Claire and I were spending a lot of time on Zoom, as was the rest of the world during the pandemic, so we could stay connected. And she had just moved across the country. So I lost my dear, dear friend to her wonderful grandchildren, which I totally understood. But thank goodness for Zoom. And during the Zoom conversations, we made a decision we were going to support each other creatively. We're going to find ways to just sort of see what our next projects were as writers. And we were just going to be connected.
And we've done that for 36 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So we've been either performing together or mentoring each other.
Or walking on the beach and solving the world's problems, like in the course of the walk. We did a lot of that.
Yeah.
Can you do that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a long walk. It's a very long walk.
Oh, I wish. Yeah.
Yeah. So during one of our Zoom conversations, somehow you said, I have this idea, and you sprung it on me. I'm like, yes, the world needs that book, and you're the one to write it, and let's do it. And it was really just the support. And this is for anybody in the room who is a writer. Sometimes it's just having that buddy, that accountability partner to say, I'm doing this, and hold me accountable to it. No, really, I'm doing this. You want to have coffee? Yes, I'm going to write for 45 minutes and then I'll meet you for coffee. Whatever it is, just to get yourself accountable. So
because when I knew when we were going to Zoom, I had to have something to read, and so I really had to stay disciplined. And you were so instrumental in really giving me the pattern of discipline that I needed. And it really was one chapter at a time, one page at a time sometimes. And each chapter has a different topic. There's, as Charlotte said, there's 22 topics that explore the concept of enough in all aspects of our life. And within those chapters, the concept of an interactive memoir is weird and unknown to a lot of people. But what that means is I want you to come along with me. And so I've put all kinds of questions and prompts and ideas and opportunities for self-reflection in every one of the 22 chapters. So I am bearing my soul. I am telling you really personal stories. My sister wrote me yesterday saying she learned about our family through this book. There were things that she didn't know.
I was going to say, I've known you for 36 years and I learned a lot, even from the 2 chapters we're working on tonight, because we're going to do 2 chapters. Address childhood and time are the 2 chapters we're looking at tonight. But even from that, after all these years and all our conversations and beach walks, I learned new things. The other thing that Claire said to me that I want to just say right at the top is that you said you wrote this book because you wanted to start a conversation.
I really did. That was my goal. Yeah. I have no illusions or interest that I will get rich or be on the New York Times bestseller. It really was. And because I've been lonely, between the pandemic and then moving across country away from everybody, like I have no ego or self-consciousness about telling you I've missed you all, and starting a whole new life at 65 years old in a foreign land of Brooklyn has been challenging. I love it. I have no regrets. I'm a New Yorker now, and I'm proud to say that. I love it there, and I miss you all. And I think writing this book really helped me reconnect to a lot of chapters of my past, as is looking around at the room at you guys right now. So, yeah.
Terrific. So 22 chapters plus a bonus chapter.
Yes. So the bonus chapter is your own enough inventory. So all the questions in the book are collected at the end. And this is really great, like for book clubs, or if you journal, or you want to do an enough workshop, because it has every chapter broken down and all of the questions that are in there. But also throughout every chapter, there's a lot. There's a lot for you, not just for me. So I really want us to do this together.
All right. So with that, I think we should dive in. What I'd love to invite you to do is read from childhood,
Okay.
from this chapter, and see where you connect in. Just listen and see where the enough issue comes up for you, how you connect to it.
So let me start by asking, you don't have to answer, it's rhetorical, but it's in here. What does a good enough parent look like? My children are completely different from each other, and this was evident the minute they were born. My daughter came out tiny with the most delicate fingers and toes and a nose I had never seen on a newborn. She was born early, but not considered a preemie, even though her entire foot was smaller than my ring finger. My son was the opposite. He burst into the world large, loud, alert. The first time we locked eyes, I felt as if I was staring at a wise old man I had known my whole life. He was always and has always been like this, always mistaken for older than his age. He was also born with an obvious case of FOMO. This guy wanted to be part of everything. He didn't sleep through the night until he was 4, just to make sure he didn't miss 1 minute of excitement. And there he is, by the way, right there. Successive interrupted nights sleep with my daughter had me in a panic. Sleep deprivation was a fate worse than death for me as a first-time parent. Willing a 2-month-old insomniac to sleep was tantamount to withdrawing money from my own bank account and calling it a paycheck. It was different caring for my son, knowing he would be my last. I hunkered down with him. I watched way too many midnight infomercials and may or may not have ordered a solar-powered yard gnome, chandelier-sized earrings, nonsensical kitchen appliances in my sleep-deprived haze. Looking back, I am grateful for so many aspects of parenting: the family meals, the vacations, the bedtime stories, the loud band practices. I have fond memories of chauffeuring the neighborhood carpool, especially the time the kids would forget that I was in the car and revealed all sorts of valuable intel. My fridge door was open to all, and my shoulder was available for anyone's adolescent tears. And there was laughter. There was so much laughter. To relieve my own sporadic boredom as a parent, I invented activities that would delight and entertain me as well as my kids. We had 99-cent store play dates where I gave my kids and their friends each $5 and a half hour to run the aisles of the store a la supermarket sweep. I loved seeing what each child bought. My son's friends often loaded up on various colors of duct tape, tools, puzzles, safety goggles. My daughter's friends stocked up on cheap gross makeup and art supplies. And of course, there was candy. There was so much candy. One of my points of pride as a parent was not permitting cursing in the house. My kids rarely heard their dad or I cuss, although we did plenty of it behind closed doors. I told my kids it showed a lack of imagination as well as a lack of vocabulary. Their friends also had to follow the no cursing rule when they came over, and my kids were mercilessly mocked by their friends about this, until it was time to pack up and move to our new home. I needed help, so I told my kids to tell their friends that Saturday was cuss day and that everyone who came over had permission to cuss like a drunken sailor as long as they packed boxes at the same time. When I greeted them at the door with, "Hello, motherfucker, get your ass in here," they knew the day would be filled with profane and productive hilarity. We had a ball and the boxes got packed. Who my kids are now to each other as adults is one of my greatest joys in life. My daughter told me the main reason she wanted to have 2 children of her own was that she couldn't imagine her life without her brother, whom she considers a trusted confidant and her best friend. My daughter now has 2 daughters, and I pray those girls grow up to have close ties like their mom and uncle do. And I vow to be there for my daughter as she parents her young children, so she too can find the joy, the beauty, and the laughter amidst the mountains of broken toys, dirty diapers, and permanently stained designer duds.
Yay. Thank you, Claire. So delightful. So one of the questions, there's little circles throughout the chapter. First of all, my whole book now is like red lines because I love every line. Here it says, if you could pick anyone in the world to be your parents, not including your own, who would you pick and why? And then after hearing about your experiences, I would like you to be my mother. And Rochelle, I've also have another mother here. Yeah. So fantastic. So there's so much in here about that's well, you didn't read the whole thing, but there's so much in here that I love, that was moved by, and I think I've learned so much from you about parenting by example, watching you. I learned to make vodka and latke parties, which before that were just called Happy Hanukkah from Santa Monica parties, which I stole from you because you had Yid Fest. So which is in here. But all of these things about how do you take the time that we have and the relationships we have and make them count. And parenting is a great opportunity to either be totally present and do that or check out.
Well, and there is a chapter on parenting in here and a chapter on childhood, because as I wrote the parenting chapter, I thought this isn't really covering childhood. And I wanted to kind of touch on my childhood and my kids' childhood. And I heard about a study recently, I don't know if you guys read about it, where they asked all these people, if you could say something to your 13-year-old self in one sentence, one piece of advice, what would you say? And the overwhelming number of respondents said, I would want to tell my 13-year-old self that you are enough. And I wonder like who I would have been if I would have heard that at 13. Who would you have been if someone would have told you that at 13 years old? Like, when does it all start? When do we all start getting so self-judgmental and hard on ourselves and wanting and asking and needing more all the time, you know?
It's great questions.
Yeah.
The book, most writing that I'm moved by, provocative writing, is rich with questions. There's so many questions that you pose in here that leave us kind of considering these things. And you talk about what does good enough parenting look like, right? I mean, yeah. I spent a lot of time, remember specifically when I was pregnant with my son in therapy, saying to the therapist, well, I don't want to make the same problems. I don't want to make the same mistakes my parents did.
Right.
And she said, don't worry, you won't make those. You're aware of those. You'll make different ones. There's no way around that. We all do this, right? Yeah. We know what we know. And then, so yeah.
It's true. Yeah. And, well, you'll know when you read the book, my mother was bipolar. And so it was a different mom every day. And so the idea of, learning from her as a parent, I'm just so grateful that I was able to tell her before she died that she, in fact, was a fabulous parent. Because she taught me the importance of self-care, the importance of having friends, because she couldn't have friends. So it was really wonderful parenting in her struggles. And I know she heard it, and I really wanted her to know that she was a fabulous mother.
And you say that here, you really, it touched me so much when you talked about, even at a young age, being aware that your mother wasn't mentally equipped, so that she had to come up with workarounds to be able to show up as a parent.
Yeah.
And the thing about the cereal on the counter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that.
Yeah. There are 4 kids in our family. My dad got us transferred all the time, sometime in the middle of the school year. And it was up to my mother to get us all relocated. And she would always try to find a house that we could all walk to. In kindergarten, I was walking through a trailer park to kindergarten every day because, she couldn't get us all to school and she couldn't get us breakfast. So before she'd go to bed at night, she just put out cereal boxes and we were fine. That's what we thought breakfast was, Captain Crunch was my friend, it was great. But it was a wonderful childhood. Like, there were challenges and there were struggles, as all of you, I'm sure, experienced in your own ways. But I'm really, really happy to have this opportunity to write about it, because I think people tend to have selective memory about their childhoods. They want to fix things, and it's okay, I think, to tell the truth. And so that's what I've done.
And you do it so beautifully. You talk really openly about the challenges and in a funny way, but I was moved by that as well. So thank you for pouring your heart on the page. and for inviting us into your world with this. We could do a little with the audience first before we move into the other chapter. I think we're
If you want, or yeah,
whatever.
I mean, does anybody have?
Well, let's just
comment?
start with this. Raise your hand if you had a perfect childhood. Okay, one.
Good
We
for
have
you.
One. You're the one.
Mazel tov.
Well, we have one. Good, excellent. Her book will be here next week.
Yeah, right. Right.
But no, I mean, again, it's not that it's perfect. It's the imperfections. Yes.
Well, when you say how much is enough, and then talk about childhood and being raised,
I'll repeat the question if you can't hear.
I would, in one quick answer, it's more like just an answer to that
Yeah.
instead of a question.
Yeah.
But I would want to know if you agree. I think love is enough.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, and love is enough, and it presents itself in many forms. And there's a chapter on love in here. So yes, love is enough. Love is more than enough.
Before we started today, this woman in the back who I don't know, who's up there, yes, you with the glasses and the silver, beautiful hair. She said to me, "Well, what do you think it is then about which is enough for you? What's the core, the focus of it?" And I said, "Love." That's exactly what I said. Because yes, and then, yeah, that comes through in who you are, and it comes through in the pages. So, any other reflections or anything anybody else wants to bring up on this topic before we move into some other reading? Anything that comes up for you when you hear this? Do you think that if you were to do well, first of all, let's see, how many of you are parents by raise of hand? And how many of you spent time thinking about, did I do it right? Did I get it right?
Is I a good enough
Everybody.
parent? Yeah, that's everybody. That's everybody. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I think a good enough parent actually is good enough.
Hmm.
You know, I really do. I think, we all set these unrealistic standards for ourselves in all aspects of our life, certainly as a parent. And I think it's okay to be good enough, for sure.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Let's look at the time chapter.
Okay.
Or
Yes.
We're gonna look at the other chapter.
Yeah.
I got time. Speaking of time.
Yeah, the last two chapters, time and life, were the hardest chapters. I saved them till the end. They're very important. I don't think you could write about the concept of enough without addressing time and life. In the life chapter, I talk about helping my dad end his life, and he had enough. It had enough, So that's a really powerful chapter. And I want you to know this is also funny. This is all not just sad, but I think that's the human condition, right? Like finding the funny in our darkest moments really shed such important life on our health and our happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you want me just to dive into this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I want to talk about boredom. The beauty of boredom. That kind of came up as I was writing this. One of the questions that I ask here is, do you consider boredom time wasted or time for relaxation? When was the last time you let yourself get bored enough to daydream? I like to think of boredom as a mindful meditation, a chance to refresh, recharge. And I offer a few benefits of boredom. One that I really liked a lot is stating that boredom is an inside job. With no plan to accomplish anything, try roaming the rooms of your home. Peer into the drawers or closets you haven't investigated for a while. Stare deeply into family photos and remember what you were doing, thinking, and feeling when the picture was taken. Resist the instinct to clean or to organize. Just observe and reclaim something new about your home, its contents, and ultimately yourself. I'm a huge believer in the beauty of boredom. When my kids were young and complained that they were bored, I often accused them of not having enough of an imagination. That usually woke them up to all they had available, and they entertained themselves. After the predictably timed eye roll, Sam usually gravitated towards something musical, and Jenna often picked up a book or got lost in her virtual Sims world. I believe passions developed out of my childhood boredom. Experimenting in the kitchen as a preteen was the start of my love for all things culinary. Pressing my ear against the family hi-fi stereo, listening to comedy albums over and over and over again, introduced me to the concept of comedy as a viable career. These days, I've added internet shopping, social media scrolling, and binge watching The Bear as rewards for accomplishing something significant. Who says bribery can't be enough of an effective time management tool? I love making lists.
Mm.
I get an inordinate amount of satisfaction crossing tasks off lists, whether it is handwritten or on my iPhone. It is enough proof that I am accomplished, successful, and productive, even if it's just a grocery list. Bravo to me for not forgetting pickles or chocolate. One of the reasons I love cooking so much is that it exists in its own time frame. You cannot will water to boil. You cannot summon bread dough to rise before it's ready. You cannot rush a simmer. Cooking is time sensitive, a constant reminder that we cannot control time. When I take enough time to organize and prep for a multi-course meal, I feel like a culinary orchestral conductor, utterly absorbed in the delicate syncopation of getting everything cooked and on the table at the right temperature at the same time. Brownies are my favorite culinary example of the magic and power of time. They never seem quite done when you take them out of the oven at the prescribed time, but you must trust that they have cooked enough. If you follow the directions, you will be richly rewarded with a firm, lightly cracked top and a dense, gooey center. Is there anything better than biting into a warm brownie? Well, maybe two, because one is rarely enough. I have worked jobs both at night and during the day. The list is surprisingly diverse, including stand-up comic and preschool cooking instructor. These jobs required very different levels of adrenaline and time management, never affording me the luxury to contemplate a circadian rhythm. So whether you are on a deadline, have time on your hands, are experiencing a pregnant pause, getting time and a half, finding time, wasting time, on overtime, moving double time, on borrowed time, or doing time, please remember to live in the moment. May every moment you have be filled with at least one precious second of bliss, and may it be enough.
Thank you, Claire. I love this chapter, and a couple things came up for me. First off, you talk somewhere in the book about that you don't have a meditation practice per se, that you talk about Sam has a meditation practice and I have my yoga practice, but the way you live your life and the way you wrote and the things you're talking about here, you know, the simmer, all of that's your own version of meditation. It's your own way that you pay attention to life and help us slow down into it with you. And
so thank you. You know,
beautiful.
I think we all know someone in our life that is never happy with what they have. It's never enough. They don't have enough money. Their house isn't big enough. Their kids aren't accomplished enough. Maybe they have problems because their spouse isn't enough, whatever. And they have something in common. They are all chronically unhealthy and unhappy. Because the truth is that having just enough, by literal definition, is enough, right? So it's enough to have the opportunity to open our eyes every morning. It's enough to, even if we don't have a partner in our life, to accept our reality, to receive love and to learn how to give love. That's enough love. And it's really, really nice to have just one pair of super comfy shoes, right? So, you know, my daily affirmation, and I hope it is for all of you too, is that I am enough and I have enough. And I wish the same for all of you. I really do.
I love that. This is particularly provocative topic because the only thing that I think there's not enough of in the world is this topic, is time. Yeah. Everything else to me seems infinite, and time is the one thing that's finite. So I really like you digging in with this. A couple other things that you talked about here that struck me. Relishing time with your family is your priority, your spiritual practice, and a chance for deeper personal growth. So that's like, you know, what is that expression? Do you make time or does time make you?
Yeah.
I mean, you were so like the bravest soul I knew. You were like, I'm leaving LA. I've been here for decades. My life, my friends, everything's here. I'm going to be where my kids are and my grandchildren are going to be. And you just turned your life upside down, really. And because you knew your time with your family was limited and it was precious to you. And I just have such great respect for that. And
yeah, well, thank you. And we all know how fast childhood goes. It goes so fast. And as my sweet son said, because he lives here, you know, I want you, they need you, you should go. And it's been an extraordinary experience watching my my baby daughter parent her children, parent her daughters, and to see the continuum of life like that, it just gives you the perspective that, we're all here like really, really very short time.
Yes.
And it's really important that every day becomes enough in one way or another for all of us.
How long are we here? You talk about this. Rent, Seasons of Love, 525,600 minutes, the number of minutes in a year. And how many minutes, how are you spending your days? That's what the book made me think of. How are you spending your days? What are the qualities of your days?
I mean, one of the exercises in here that I love is going into the park or any natural place and just focusing on the sensory experience of being in nature.
Mm-hmm.
We're always in a rush. We got to get our exercise. We got to check our steps. We got to, but just be in the moment. Feel the softness of the soil underneath your shoes. Listen for the birds. Look at all the different colors of green and all the different colors of blue in the sky. I mean, simple moments of meditation like that can be enough to really reconnect you with nature and yourself.
And it's an inside job. And here's proof, because you lived in Los Angeles where we have plenty of nature. But in the book, you talk about your Brooklyn life is where you're finally exhaling.
Yes.
I think you see more nature in New York.
I do. It's unbelievable because I don't drive in New York. So I walk everywhere. In New York, you look into people's eyes. You see each other. You're not honking at each other. You're actually like seeing each other. And you're walking through garbage, but you're also walking through nature. And it is an incredible opportunity to really be aware of all that we come in contact with, viscerally. It's amazing.
Question for all of you that Claire poses in the book. What's your most vivid example of the passing of time? Like something specifically in your life where time passes. Anybody want to? I mean, I will say for sure, for me, it's for sure my son, watching my son become a 27-year-old grown-ass man, like in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So that, what else though for you, specific thing that, wow, I'm really not here forever. Yes.
It's heavy, but mine's just loss. I've had so much,
Mhm.
and I had it so early, and then I had it so repetitively,
And that's
and
how.
I've had it constantly, and so it's a very stark reminder of the limitations, So I have to kind of escape that more so, living in the moment rather than living that every. I live so much in the moment that I have to let the moment go for a second.
Right.
But you're saying
Like, I'm
that
not gonna
loss,
touch it.
that you've
Not gonna
marked
touch it.
time with these losses.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know too
Yeah.
soon that there's end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too soon.
But that's what we
Yeah.
only have today, right? This is the only guarantee is this day.
Yeah.
And I really try to live by that because of that.
There's a hand in the back.
Yes. Another hand? Yes. Great. Please.
Hi. I'm Bela. When I was, 15, I think, there's a book that came out called Be Here Now.
Oh, yeah.
And that was my Bible for my life, really. And so now I'm so excited to get a new version of that. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you. I really think it's relevant for all of us, whatever age or stage of life we're in. I've talked to people in their 20s that are really engaged about the concept of enough. And I was talking to a 96-year-old recently about has she had enough? And she hasn't, by the way, So yeah, it's an important contemplation.
Yes. Sally.
I'm going to say that I still am stuck with the school calendar. I think about September, sort of beginning the year. So to that thing, I think that when I was in school, I was thinking, oh my God, summer's not going to be long enough. And
Yeah.
oh my God, it's going to take forever to get to Friday and get the weekend. So I have to do homework every night. And now I'm thinking, what the hell happened to summer? And my God, it's the weekend again. And oh my God, it's 2 months later than I thought. It's summer. So that whole change in concept of time. And I'm sort of thinking about this. I got gray hair and I'm older and the end is closer. And so maybe it's just my gratitude, wanting to appreciate and savor all the moments that they seem to be slipping away.
Mhm.
Yeah.
faster. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy them,
Yeah.
but it seems that the perspective is different.
Right.
Yeah, I could not have written this book a year earlier in my life. I really feel that it took all these years to cull my life experience. And it's really the gift of age. There are so many gifts of age, like just not giving a shit anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's really
It's a blessing.
wonderful.
It's
You
true.
know, we're not covering the beauty chapter, but in the beauty chapter, I talk about like it is awesome to be invisible on city streets now. It's like a superpower. It's so great. I don't worry about having to define my worth or my beauty by somebody catcalling me. I mean, really? Did we really do that? You know, it's wonderful to be not that I'm decrepit or that I don't care. I try to put my best foot forward, but like we're at a great age and stage where we know we're enough. We don't need you to whistle at me for me to feel good about myself.
Mhm.
I'm there. It's fine. I'm there.
You're reminding me, what's her name? Kathy Bates, who's the one that won the Oscar.
Bates.
Thank you. Kathy, that's another thing when you get older. Can't remember shit. Doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Kathy Bates they're redoing Matlock as a TV series.
Oh,
And she's playing Matlock. And the whole thing is about the fact, exactly what you just said. She's of a certain age where people don't notice that she's there, so she can solve lots of crimes because nobody cares. She just goes on about her life. There's something you wrote about in this chapter that really struck me, and I don't want it to go past the opportunity to talk about it. You talk about people who are so busy all the time, like they're just so busy, and they're really into telling you how busy they are.
Yes.
This is like one of my pet peeves. Drives me crazy.
Yes.
And so I don't remember if you
I
remember.
mean, we all have those friends, right? Like in my phone right now is 7 texts from a friend telling me why she can't be here. I mean, it's okay. It's really okay.
Yeah,
I didn't.
it's okay. We're good.
I answered like the first 2, and then I said, no, that's enough. That is enough.
You
I
must
am
have read this
not
book.
letting her into my happy juju here. I'm just not. So yeah.
I love that. Yeah, no, it is. I am not. People think I'm very busy all the time.
You are very busy. And
But
you
I'm-
balance more plates over your head.
But
I mean, you
I
are
spend
crazy.
so much time.
You call me at it's 7 in the morning in New York, and I'm getting a call. Can you help me with this flyer that I'm working? I'm like, Wendy, it's 4. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
But I do have a lot of time where I do nothing, and it's like secret nothing time that people don't know about.
I don't believe you.
I know no one does, but it's true. My husband knows.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
you
know.
understand?
I know.
Secret, yes. So I'm just saying that time has to be your bitch. You can't be time's bitch, is what I'm trying to say. So to put it a certain way.
Beautifully said.
It's such a romantic.
Wow. If I needle pointed, I'd make a pillow out of that.
You should.
I would.
Yes, please. Stop this insanity.
Jewish tradition, I was thinking of how they relate to enough. And one thing is in the Pirkei Avot, I think it is, which is Ethics of the Fathers. They say, who is content, who is rich, one who is content with their lot.
Yeah,
So
it's
like
beautiful.
one who's happy enough with their money.
Can you hear her back there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's talking about in the, what is it called? The
Ethics of the Fathers.
Ethics of the Father, the Jewish religion, talking about what is enough, what makes you content, and
Who's rich.
who is rich or who is all these questions, and the one who is content with their lot.
And then the other thing is Passover, at the Seder, one of the most popular songs is Dayenu. And that means
Enough.
It
Oh.
wasn't enough.
Oh yeah,
So
Yeah.
thank you for that. That's
I
true.
just wanted to add those.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's enough. Yeah. It's enough already. That's right. That's right. That's
So
right. Q&A?
yeah, I think we
Yeah.
should. I think we should do a little more Q&A, and then we'll have some time
Yeah.
for you to meet Claire and you talk to her. If you want to get a book, you certainly can. So I think we start with just how is enough for you? Are you I'm good, or are you still wanting that thing in life? Are you still chasing something? That's a question that you can either think about on your own, or you can raise your hand and share if you want to. This is a very safe room, by the way. A lot of us know each other, a lot of us don't. Yes, the lovely lady in the back who I do know. Hi, Wendy.
Oh, but there's that thing about the worry if you're feeling content, like that you're feeling too content and you're not going after what you want. You know, I think I have this.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of calm me.
So if you're happy, that's like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's like, I like if I'm motivated to do something and I'm like driven to do something or jazzed about something, that does make me happy. Also, like lying in the shades when I'm jetpack and doing nothing makes me happy. But I definitely have this like anxiety about their contentment and complacency, like where they. Like contentment seems positive.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you think
Yeah.
that's an American thing?
Yeah.
The question, she was talking about how that sometimes she's concerned that if you're content, that maybe you're not going to be motivated to like live your life. She's like, I can be content working on a deadline, but I also you said content in a lounge chair somewhere. So how do I monitor?
Yeah, to not be complacent or then you're kind of like bored in the next.
Or to be complacent and let that be enough. Like it's okay to be complacent.
Lori and I talk
Maybe-
about this a lot. My friend Lori Shore about that. Is it okay to be okay with not wanting more?
Right.
I don't need to go out every night of the week. I don't need like I'm really, and that is that okay? I like that I don't need that.
That's why I wanted to address boredom, because I think between our technology and just the world we live in, we always need to be stimulated. We always need to have this stuff going on around us. But what if we don't? You know, what if we don't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
When I was younger, because my parents taught me to be a gentleman, I would always rush up to the door and hold it open for, a pretty young woman. And now they rush up to the door. Okay, age before beauty.
That's great. Well, at least somebody's opening the door. Nobody's throwing the door. Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm curious, what was your biggest takeaway? You finished the book and you went, whoa, I never
Great
expected
question.
Yeah.
to discover that.
Great question.
Yeah, I mean, through the process of writing this book, people would try to divert my attention. They would say, you should really do this. Have you thought about, how about a podcast? And I'd be like, no, I really just want to do this. And I really worked on it one chapter at a time. And it was really my companion because I really didn't know that many people in New York. So it was something that I really went to and found comfort in writing every day. And so when it was done, like when the book came and I held it in my hand, it was kind of like giving birth. I really felt like, because it's such an important project for me, and I really did write it to start a conversation, exactly what we're doing right now, that to bring it out into the world is enough. And whatever happens after that, gesei gesund, as our people say, but I really feel that just having accomplished this at this age and stage in my life really represents
Fantastic.
something important to me and to my children.
Fantastic. Fantastic. It's all true. I love your question. I've watched you own this next chapter of your life by writing these 22 chapters. Like you're like, this is what I'm stepping into now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
23 is enough.
Oh, yeah. But the bonus, it wasn't enough. You added the bonus chapter.
I know.
Right.
Any other book questions before we close our chat? Yeah.
Over here. Oh, yeah.
That
Okay.
just latched into my next question, actually, that I find as an artist, or as anything creative, the question of, have I done enough, or is that too much? And what was your experience with this book? And even in terms of length of chapter or examples.
Thank you for that question, Megan, because I think about Picasso. Like he's drawing this painting and then he's like, one eye's enough. Right? So, right, Patty? So I just kind of knew it. I had an outline for it and I had the 22 chapters and I felt that the 22 chapters really did create enough opportunity for us to have a conversation, the readers and me. And there could always be more, and maybe there is, but I'm just really not focused on that right now because I think that there's so much in here and there's such a great opportunity for conversation. And I really want to have it with all of you. There's a Facebook How Much Is Enough group. I want y'all to join. I want your emails before you leave. So I won't really schmutz up your mailbox, but I have things I want to share with you. So hopefully we can all do that together. So it is a continuing conversation.
And I would briefly like to address this issue about the writing. There is an expression, the book is finished, but it's never done. So you have to, at a certain point, and one of the reasons to finish a book is so you can write the next one. I know that sounds counter to this enough conversation, but sometimes people are blocked because they have a story that they haven't completed. And I work with writers, so I see this a lot. And so I think it's important that if people have a story in them that they want to get out, like where's Miss Linda? Finished her book this year as well. We have several people who have completed books or are in the process. So it's inspiring to see this process, but you did, you were very clear. I'm doing this year. This is my project and I'm going to get it done. And methodical. I mean, we went to Mexico on a writing retreat and Claire was amazing, but she also didn't even do some of the playtime with us because she's like, I got to finish. I got a chapter. I got a deadline. I've got to, a meta read. So yeah, it's good. Somebody else had their hand up over here. Yes, Patty.
Claire, you had mentioned you couldn't have written this book a year earlier. Why was that? What was going on that you went, okay, now I want to write it, I got to write it, I can't.
So in the spirits of gifts wrapped in horrible packages, the pandemic was an opportunity, I think, for all of us for self-reflection, but it really, living alone really shut me down and gave me an opportunity to really think about this. And then on top of that, moving to New York and starting all over again really gave me a chance.
I know.
You're just in time. We're just starting. Yeah, we're just.
Hi, everybody. This is Claire Berger. Welcome.
Oh, you just made it. Yeah, there's enough now. Yeah. I do think age is a gift. I think I had to finish raising my children to be able to really write honestly about that experience. Not that you're ever done, but they're launched. They don't, they're launched. I talk about my 30-year marriage ending, and I think that that's a subject that needed to be discussed. And I talk about why, and I deal with, I talk a lot about substance abuse in this book because that was the reason that my marriage ended. And I really feel like there's so many things that have happened in the course of all of our lives that it's time to talk about. It's enough keeping all this stuff inside of us. We really need to share, and we will all heal and feel better about ourselves for doing so. And I do after writing this. I really do. Yeah.
What a great extra gift for you.
Yeah.
So you haven't seen, some of you have seen the book, but if you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. Yes, it's all over. And just a few of the things as you leave tonight to start to think about this week in your life. What's enough family time? What does good health mean? What's enough health for you? What is enough marriage, like you talked about? What about friendship? How many friends do you need? How deep does that need to go? What's enough food? What's enough travel? What's enough work? What's enough substances? All of these things. Each one is chapter. What's enough fun? Is there?
There's a fun.
But is there too much?
There's
fun?
a free fun chapter. Actually, if you go on claireberger.com, you can download the free chapter. So if there's somebody that you think that really needs this book and you don't want to be heavy-handed about it, just like get them the free chapter.
Love it.
Yeah. It's free. It's good.
With that, I think we should thank Claire, first of all, for this.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you.
So proud of you. So proud of you.
Wendy Hammers.
Pleasure. Thank you. So we have begun the conversation. We're going to continue the conversation. And if you would like to get a copy of the book, and Claire would love to sign it and say hello to you. So right at the end where that step and repeat.
I just want to say
yes.
The book is available in audio.
Yes.
And she does it.
And I've been listening to Claire read the book, and
You're great.
just incredible. It's like having you next to me, and it's so pleasant.
Catherine said the same thing. She loves listening to audio.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying so.
Yeah, take me on your next road trip. I'm a really good companion. Yeah, thank you.
For sure.
Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
We've never done this before, but what would be, don't feel like you have to do it, but only just thinking logically, to to get you guys over there. If you're in a blue chair, if you want to just, when you stand up, close it and put it on the wall.
This wall.
Oh, there's a lot of
idea.
people in this
I love it.
room that know about that, so it's.
Yeah.
There's a small trick. It's very hard to close unless you, thank you so much.
You're gonna demonstrate?
Put your foot on the bottom thing in the back. And then it's
Okay.
And
Terrific.
We'll kind of just work our way around to the side.
Thank you, Charlotte.
There we go.
Thank you, everybody.
All right,
Thank you so much.
you.
Claire, fabulous. You're amazing. Claire, perfect. Perfect. You're such a match. You're a match.
So are you.
Right. Good. Terrific. All right. So you'll get yourself down there. You have your water. We don't need these. We don't need these though.
Yeah, this is Jenna's art teacher from Archer.
Oh, this is Patty? Well, lovely to meet you. I'm Wendy.
It's lovely to meet you. This is a question.
Yes.
Is there anything in your life that's not enough?
I mean, I'd like to.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to tell us. My 30